Hey, I'm Amber from colitisninja.com. I was asked to share my story in video form, so here we go. Um, in 2011, in January of 2011, I started exhibiting symptoms of ulcerative colitis. It started with the diarrhea, the frequent diarrhea. I thought I had a stomach bug, so I kind of blew it off. And then around January 15th, um, I started noticing, it slowly came on. The rectal bleeding slowly came on, but around the 15th of January, I noticed that, I was going up to 20 times a day, maybe more. And some of those times I was producing nothing but pools of dark blood in the bottom of the toilet. So I decided I should probably go to the doctor. Went to the doctor. She told me it was probably a bacterial infection. Um, Gave me some antibiotics, told me if it didn't get better to come back. So um, a week or two went by, didn't get better. And I remember lying in bed one day in so much pain. I called my mom and I was like, Mom, there's something wrong. I don't know what's going on. And um, I just don't know what to do. So went back to the doctor. She did a stool sample and an x-ray. And when she realized how much blood I had in my stool sample, she sent me for an emergency colonoscopy the next day. My mom went with me. And when I woke up, the GI told me I either had ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. Never heard of ulcerative colitis, but my mom has Crohn's disease. It was never very serious. After her first surgery, she did just fine. And her surgery was actually initially for appendicitis. That's when they found out she had Crohn's. And that was when she was 18 years old, and that was before I was born. But anyway, so when the GI told me I either had UC or Crohn's, she told me also that she would know for certain in a week, so I waited. In between that time, my general physician told me that my blood count had dropped 6 points or something like that. And she said I could really give you 2 units of blood, but I'm just going to give you 1. So that weekend, I ended up having a blood transfusion. That was one of the most frightening moments in my life. I counted I was stuck like 9 times in a week with a needle, and I just didn't know what was going on. I, cried a lot, screamed a lot. Very scary. So anyway, a week after my colonoscopy, my doctor's office got back with me. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. Wasn't happy with that GI. I felt like my questions weren't answered, and she blew me off a lot, and I just wasn't getting better. I was on prednisone and valsalazide at that point. And I was still bleeding, still having problems. So I got a second opinion and went to see that doctor. He did some tests, found out I had C. diff. So in addition to being treated for UC, I was also treated for C. diff. And finally, around June of 2011, I got into remission. Stayed in remission, got married in October of that year, and in 2012, around April, I started having my second flare-up, or second confirmed flare-up. Got that under control. I was on my third GI by this point because I had moved, for getting married and all that stuff. So I had to get a new GI. Got on some prednisone. Finally got that flare out of the way pretty quickly. And then around, I want to say it was April of the next year, so 2013, I started flaring again. Well, this time, prednisone wasn't helping me. I tried diet changes. I did the ALCAT test. I did allergy testing. So I found out my food allergies, if I had any, which I didn't, and my food intolerances, and I had a whole bunch of those, so I cut all of that stuff out. and, did that whole thing for about a year, and things weren't getting better. They put me on Symphony. First they put me on Humira. That wasn't working. So they put me on Symphony, ended up in the hospital for severe dehydration. I couldn't keep food or water down or up, either way. So that was a miserable time. So I was in the hospital for about 3 days. Finally got me rehydrated and all that stuff. And so that was December of 2013. And I was on Symphony, still hoping that it would work. And around March of 2014, I finally got fed up. I was tired of suffering. I was tired of feeling like a lab rat. And my doctor told me, you know what, maybe it's just time for surgery. He was tired of me. I was tired of him. It wasn't really a good doctor-patient relationship, so I'm kind of, that was not a fun time, having that experience and then having to deal with him. But he told me it was probably time for surgery and I should just call a surgeon. So called a surgeon, set something up, talked to him, and he wanted to schedule me for surgery that very next week. And I said, no, I have to go to my sister's wedding. My sister's wedding is coming up and I need to be there. So that was 2 weeks away. So he upped my prednisone dose, and I was still having problems. I didn't know how I was going to make it through my sister's wedding. Ended up in the ER a couple of times. I think it was for the same, couldn't keep anything down or up, and I was in so much pain. And the ER doctor asked me, well, what do you want me to do for you? You're having surgery in 2 weeks. What do you want me to do for you? And I said, you know what? I just want to get through my sister's wedding. And so he ended up putting me on oxycodone. He said it would slow down the muscle spasms and, kind of help me get through it. So I started taking those, and they actually did help a little bit. I was still in so much pain. By the time my sister's wedding, came around, my face was swollen from the prednisone. And I had hemorrhoids the size of grapes, and I was miserable. Absolutely miserable. Hobbled down the aisle. My joints were achy from the prednisone. It was terrible. And anyway, so 3 days after my sister's wedding, I ended up having my colon removed. And that was on April 15th of 2011. I'm sorry, 2015. No, I'm sorry, 2014. I'm currently pregnant, so I'm like, my brain's not working right now. So 2014 is when I had my colon removed, and had my J pouch constructed, had a temporary loop ileostomy, and that lasted for about 3 months. In between, I had my J pouch surgery done in 2 surgeries. You can have it done in 1, 2, or 3, and I had mine in 2. Between my 2 surgeries, I ended up with a big abscess the size of a small lemon in my incision, and I'm told that it's probably because I was on high doses of prednisone, which kind of keeps you from healing properly. But anyway, after that abscess, I ended up with 2 smaller abscesses above and below the original abscess, and it was just, it was not a fun experience, but I got through it. And in July of 2014, I had my takedown surgery, and ever since then, things have started looking up. I still have to deal with, butt burn and frequent bowel movements, but I would take that over a diseased colon any day. I'm happy with where I am, and right now I'm currently pregnant with my first baby. So, and things are going well. So, you can have a normal life after J pouch surgery. It may not be ideal. The ideal would be a happy, healthy colon, restored to my normal state. But, I'm happier now than I was when I had a diseased colon. So that's my ulcerative colitis story. You can find me online. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can also go to my website, www.colitisninja.com. Feel free to connect with me, and you can also email me, colitisninja@gmail.com. If you have any questions about, J-pouch life or what it's like being pregnant with a J-pouch, please feel free to email me or contact me on any of my social media sites. Thanks for listening. Bye.